Alright, it's currently the last day of February and I'm 2/3 into my build period in my triathlon training. In around 1 month, the build period will start when I'm focusing on building more power, increasing my intensity and weekly volume, and also incorporating swimming into my training. Maybe for the past few weeks, 1 month, I've obviously been training as part of my base period, but I've noticed that I've also been very busy when it comes to work and other things, and that has made me think a lot about recovery and balance in general, and these are things I thought would be very interesting to dive deeper into and also to clarify both for myself, but also this might give you some new ideas and hopefully perspective into things. Now, my goal for myself is to just create some clarity regarding recovery and how important it is, because when you focus on recovery, it ensures that you can keep on training and also that you don't burn out. Now, when I've been thinking about recovery a little bit more in detail, I've come to the conclusion that it's very multifaceted. Yeah, and I want to get deeper into that a little bit later in this video. But as for the categories that I want to talk about, the things regarding recovery that I want to touch on, is obviously the big one for me is that triathlon training and like physical training in general. But of course, that's not the only thing I'm doing with my everyday life. I have also work and then other things that I'm doing. In this video, I want to break down how I recover from each of them. But now I have to get my laundry done. So when it comes to February and I guess some parts of January, some weeks I noticed were super kind of heavy with work and everything. And there I was kind of, I noticed that I was trying to balance the need for rest with the want to kind of train. And this prompted me to think more about recovery and my recovery habits and what I need to do to recover, but also what I want to do to recover. What are the things that I enjoy doing? Because that also helps recovering. When I think about recovery, it's not only the active and passive things that you might do while training, the things that you hear about all the time, like stretching and sauna and stuff like this. I think it's more diverse than that, and that's exactly kind of what I wanted to dive deeper into and really examine what those things are for me, not just the basic stretching and active recovery, so to say, but what are also like the other things that help me recover both physically and mentally. But I think let's first start out with the physical things, the active recovery. When it comes to the term active recovery, I guess it traditionally refers to what you do, kind of exercises that you do in order to actively recover. And while I do things like that, also maybe I'm using the term more in the context of what things I actively do for my body to recover. So it's maybe not exactly the same as when the term is traditionally used. When it comes to workouts and when it comes to training, I really just go with the feel. I really listen to my body. If I feel tired, then I do a lower intensity workout or shorter workout, and in that way then it's more like active recovery, I would say. when I don't want to skip the actual workout. When it comes to other things that I actively do in order for my body to recover, first one, which I'm still working on and trying to improve, is stretching. And I keep it very simple. Usually I don't stretch straight after the workout, but maybe say 1 or 2 hours after, at the latest in the evening, when I just want to have a moment to kind of reset before I go to bed. And then I keep the stretches very simple, 10 to 20 seconds per muscle. But also this is one of those things I don't do every day. It would be good to do it every time after training, but it's something I'm still working on. Now the first, second, third thing I do, which I really enjoy doing for recovery, is sauna, and it's something very traditional for living in Finland. I go to sauna at least twice, sometimes even 3 or 4 times a week. I go to the gym on Tuesdays and Thursdays. There I go every time after the gym. I go to sauna. On Sundays I go winter swimming, and that's paired also with going to the sauna. I haven't used really the sauna here at home, as the prices of electricity have been quite high. When you have the sauna on, it doesn't actually cost so much, but it's still maybe a thing of principle, let's say. But sauna, it's very good. It gets your blood flowing. Yeah, it opens up your arteries. It makes your blood flow everywhere, which helps, I guess, speed up recovery. Plus, there's not only the physical part or physical benefit of going to sauna, it's also very mentally refreshing, and it really calms you down. Fourth thing I do to actively recover, or actively do in order to recover, I kind of touched on already. It's winter swimming, and that is kind of goes hand in hand with going to sauna. There you expose yourself to really cold water, really cold temperatures, and in turn it makes your veins restricts blood flow to your extremities and focuses the blood flow on the more important organs in your body. And when you alternate between cold and hot, you get this benefit of the blood flow changing all the time. Those are things I do on a very regular basis in order to recover. Then one kind of luxury, I haven't done it in a while, but number 5 that I do actively to recover is I enjoy going to a massage, but I haven't been now for 3 months, I think. Simple fact is that it costs money, and I'm very frugal, and I'm budgeting for other things. Although in recent weeks, training quite hard, and I really noticed that I want to go for a massage, and it would really benefit me. So a massage, it's good because it really opens up your muscles, your knots, and releases kind of tension, and it gets your blood flowing, and it gets rid of toxins, and it gets different fluids in your body moving. So it's actually very beneficial. It does not only open up your muscles and knots, it helps in many different ways. These ways of recovery are very physical and things you have to set time aside for. But then there are more passive ways of recovery that are maybe traditionally not just associated with sports recovery. I will get into those points a little bit later, but now I have to go and get my laundry, and after that I will get a bike workout done. Now the passive ones also, many of them of course directly affect how I recover physically, but many of them are also ones that affect me more mentally, which in turn has a positive effect on my physical recovery. So what are the more passive ways in which I recover? The first one, which is the most kind of obvious, which everyone does, some more, some less, is sleep. And first one because it's the most important one, because while you're sleeping, your body is physically repairing itself. During the week, I try to sleep a minimum of 7 hours. My ideal schedule is being in bed at 10 and then waking up at 5. Some days, if I'm like super tired, I might go to bed already after 9 o'clock or 9:30. Or if for some reason I'm awake longer than 10 o'clock, then I might not wake up at 5 o'clock. On weekends, I usually just sleep as much as I feel that I need to sleep, around 8 to 9 hours, and then I feel like really refreshed. Second thing which I pay attention to, and I talked about this more in detail in one of my recent videos, nutrition. I pay attention to what I eat, what I consume, but having said that, I'm not super strict with what I eat. I just try to eat in a very versatile manner, different kinds of carbs, different kinds of proteins, a lot of fruit, a lot of vegetables, berries. So again, nutrition I keep very simple. And then I guess this is more 50-50 if it's active or passive recovery. But third point is I really enjoy walking. Now also I came to a different place just to chat. I walked here. Everywhere I go, I walk. Whenever there is not a time constraint and I'm going somewhere, I walk. Because it's good recovery physically for your legs, but also it's a nice break kind of mentally also. And when I'm walking, sometimes I don't listen to any music, but sometimes I decide to, put on some music to kind of, relax. Speaking of music, that's the kind of fourth point. So when I think of passive recovery, it's not just things that are straight like associated maybe with exercising or recovery. Passive recovery I view as something that also makes my mind relax, and in turn when my mind relaxes it helps my body recover. So very often if I want to just shut off my mind, shut off my thoughts, or if I want to get in a certain mood, I just put on some music that I really enjoy, that gets me to feel in a certain way. Usually it's something very upbeat. I love EDM, house music. I really enjoy listening to that because it really gets me going. But it's something I really enjoy, and I listen to music daily and consume it a lot. It's also something that inspires me. Sometimes I use the music that I listen to in my videos, I license it, and so on. It's a nice tool for relaxing, which in turn affects my recovery. I have a few more passive points and ways in which I recover and relax, but I have to get going. I'm meeting my family. I'm going to eat lunch. It's already almost 2:30 o'clock and I haven't eaten yet. So I will do that now. The next thing that I've started doing more of now in February in order to relax has been reading. It's something I used to do a lot when I was younger, and I have tons of books that I have read, and it's a habit I want to pick up again because I feel like it's very relaxing to do, but also it's very interesting to learn new things and get new perspectives into all kinds of things. And that was the fifth point. The kind of sixth thing I try to do sometimes. Most weeks I'm super busy and most days I'm super busy, and I go just from one item to the next, and all my days are pretty much just a task list of things to get done. So one thing I've tried to incorporate and do is just nothing. Sometimes I might be so tired that I do it automatically. I just come home from training or work or wherever I've been, and I just lay on the sofa and I do nothing. It's sometimes necessary to just sit down and think about things and not do anything. And I feel like it's a good way to mentally reset, and after that focus again on whatever I need to or want to do. And with these things, reading and doing nothing or listening to music, that time I'm taking away from what I used to do or still am doing a lot, but used to do a lot more, was just scrolling on my phone, consuming social media. Don't get me wrong, it's something I still do, and I really enjoy, for instance, watching YouTube or Instagram for inspiration and so on. but previously maybe my social media habits have been just mindless consumption of, just wasting time pretty much. And that's something I've wanted to be more mindful of and be more intentional with my phone usage. So there's like a point to it, that it doesn't rob me of time that can be spent on other things that actually improve me or take me towards my goals. So yeah, in a way, that's a way of kind of decreasing mental stress or load, just not having so much input. Yeah, and I feel like that's something maybe most people could benefit from. Last but not least, 8th point, kind of that I do to passively recover, you could say, but also to relax, something just fun, is to be social. Nowadays, I'm quite selective with my time as I am very busy, which is very self-inflicted. But having said that, I really enjoy being social and meeting people, doing stuff, whether it's going for winter swimming or catching up with someone. I don't do it much and only with few people, but when I do, I find that it's a nice kind of way to reset and relax. So these were quite tangible ways in which I either actively or passively recover, whether it's from the physical stress from training or more of a mental load from everything as a whole. There are still 2 points that I want to briefly touch upon that go hand in hand pretty much with everything. And those are the habits that I have and the environment, because those 2 things affect me a lot. Routines and habits for me are very important, because by having a very strong foundation, very strong habits, it enables me to kind of do tougher things in my everyday life when everything else runs on autopilot, whether it is cooking, whether it is keeping my apartment clean and nice, whether it is taking care of myself, anything. I'm very specific with my routines, and I like paying attention to like smaller details. It's almost kind of meditative, doing like small everyday things in between of working and training hard. And that kind of brings me to the next thing which affects my recovery and me being able to feel relaxed and be able to recover, and that's the environment. I like the feeling when I've been, working hard or training hard and then coming back to my apartment, which is, very neat, very organized, very clean. That kind of enables me to relax and start focusing on recovery. It might seem like a small thing, but for me it's very important that everything is neat, because I feel like when you have a good foundation, you take care of yourself, you take care of your environment, take care of eating healthy and so on. When you have a good foundation like that, it's easy to do demanding things. As you can see, if you have made it this far into the video, just recovery for me is something I think about a lot, and something I emphasize and something I take seriously, because I'm training so much and working so much. And I hope this video maybe gave you some insights into how to think about recovery, that it's not just specific things that you do actively after your workouts. It's kind of a wider topic. If you made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to share your thoughts and views on recovery. Do you think about it in the same way as I do, or do you view it as more of a simple thing? I would really be interested to hear about that in the comments. And also subscribe to follow along my training journey. And see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Let's get it.